Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 12th interview conducted as part of the EngagEU project. This project is carried out by EUROPEUM Institute for European Policy and with the support of the European Parliament. Today, we will speak with Mr. Franc Bogovič, a member of the European Parliament from Slovenia, who is also a member of the European People's Party. My name is Daniel Piątkiewicz, and I'm a research fellow with EUROPEUM, and I will guide you through today's interview. So great to have you, Mr. Bogovič. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good afternoon, and thanks for the possibility.
So I would like to first get your input on issues around the economic impacts of climate neutrality. Can you tell our audience briefly, what is the difference between carbon and climate neutrality?
Usually when we speak about carbon neutrality, we think about carbon emission. When we speak about climate neutrality, it's necessary also think first about other emissions like methane and other things. And also, what is the part of this debate that we think about biodiversity, that we think about deforestation of forests, that we think about farm to fork strategy, also food waste, and other things. So the waste management, the circular economy, it means that how to influence that carbon to lower carbon footprint and less emission is essential, but there is necessary to do much more for our climate if we want to save the planet, as I said.
Thank you so much. Now, moving on to our next question, what is the Europeans' Green Deal role in achieving either of these, and what is not part of it?
Green Deal is most or less a new vision of development in European Union. There are, at the beginning, were two magic words, green and digital. After COVID, it's added resilient Europe. And these topics are in many different legislations. And the basic goal is to reach climate neutrality in emissions till 2050. There are these midterm goals, 55% less in 2030. And as I said, there are also many other goals connected with circular economy, waste treatment, connected with agriculture policy, farm to fork strategy, biodiversity strategy. So there are many legislations, and the package Fit for 55 is now legislative proposal. There are 12 different proposals, directives, and other kind of proposals, and they touch to all parts of our life. So it if I conclude in one sentence, the Green Deal is ambition of Europe to go towards this three basic goal, more green, more digital, and more resilient European Union.
Thank you. No, resiliency is definitely the buzzword, I think, of these last couple of years. So moving to the next question, we have seen a rising cost of carbon emissions. We've seen that this can translate into rising costs for companies. How would you counteract that? And what are the dangers that the cost will affect weaker social groups? And also, if you can add to that, what are some of the supporting mechanisms that exist for companies to go green?
Yeah, it's for sure, this is very costly transformation. And what is necessary to say at the beginning that the starting point position is different in different countries. In many countries, they work on this green agenda in the past, in other much less. And this transition, which needs, as I said, big costs, there will be pressure on the price of electricity also for industry and also for household. It means that it will influence on competitiveness of our economy, and it's also a great danger for this energy poverty for household. And it means that there are some mechanisms inside is that emission trading system is planned to provide 72 billion of euro in the period 25-32 to help to overcome these problems. We also can speak about Just Transition Fund, which is a fund prepared also for coal regions to help them. And I can say that it will be necessary to have very clear national strategies how to come to the climate neutrality, to have clear influence of this transition on private costs of competitiveness of economy. And as I said, it will be necessary to respect big differences in starting point between countries, and it's important to understand each other. And my view on this and my opinion is also that it will be necessary to understand each other, to keep cohesion in the society, cohesion between regions, cohesion between countries in European Union.
Absolutely, thank you so much. So, as a Czech-based organization, we would also like to ask you, the Czech Republic needs to transition to a greener economy, as does most other European countries. What options would you argue that the Czech Republic should pursue in that immediate as well as long-term transition?
Yeah, all country, we must prepare, as I said, our own national strategies, which will follow these goals. And it will be necessary to think about many things. We know that the goal is to go in this low carbon economy. It means less fossil fuels, more electricity. And this is big transition in which it will be necessary fulfill this gap of production of electricity. And in electricity, my point is always that we must speak in and use the principle and, not or, and use all sources of production of electricity, from renewable, which are essential, very important. But my opinion is also that we need to use and develop nuclear energy. I'm also from Slovenia, as Czech Republic, or France. We heard Macron, he announced that there will be 6 + 8 in the next step, new nuclear power plants in France. And also, if we connect this with this crisis in Ukraine, relation Europe-China, Europe, Russia, and also Europe-USA, we remember our relation 2 years ago, how it a few years ago under Trump administration. It's necessary to have this part of to be energy safe, and I think that it's necessary to have production in our country. So this is one part. For sure, it's necessary to do as much as possible to use less energy, to make a renovation plan for society, for household, for private house, for public house and other things. So use less electricity, less energy, and also to find these new solutions like hydrogen in heavy traffic, other in industry and other things. So it's, as I said, it's a costly transformation. There is the prediction that perhaps it depends on different countries, but perhaps there will be, I don't know, 20% of public money. All other money will be money of household, of people and industry. And it will be necessary that all we understand in which direction we go, that we respect the starting point and also see different possibility which we have in close to North Sea. They have a lot of winter, so it's normal that Denmark, North Germany, also Poland, other countries, Sweden, Finland use more wind industry. In Mediterranean place, I think that we will use more solar. But as I said, use also as much as possible all other sources, hydro, nuclear included.
We actually had a question from the public that I think connects really well to your points here. They're asking, is there a possibility that the EU member states will have to rely more heavily on coal given the situation in Russia. And I think particular Central and Eastern European countries who are traditionally more reliant on coal. What impact would this have on European goals for climate neutrality?
Yeah, you heard in Italy also, Prime Minister Draghi announced that Italy use and restart to use coal and other sources. So if we see through this Ukraine crisis how dangerous this energy dependence, and Europe buy around approximately half of energy sources we buy from abroad, and it also costs us 350 billion euro per year. And for Russia, it goes around 100 billion per year, the sources, the cost of energy which we import from the Russia. So yeah, on short term, it will be necessary to have, I don't know, for the next winter, enough gas on the European, inside European Union. For this winter we have, and for the next winter we have enough time. But we can. It's for my opinion, it's not enough that we just switch from Russia to gas from in LNG, because it's against big dependency from the energy which we buy abroad. It's necessary, which we import. So it's necessary to build on this capacity. For sure, on short term, if you don't have electricity, we will use what is possible, and but on long term, I think, again, as I said before, this principle end to leave to countries to decide which are the best energy mix, and do more on the European in Europe, and be less dependent on other countries.
Thank you. So last question, this one also comes from the public, but I think it's a good question to kind of wrap up on, is do you think that the global community considers climate change as a primary threat nowadays? Do you think the Russian aggression towards Ukraine will change the West's priorities? Kind of what do you see the future of climate change and policy moving forward?
I will start again with this, that we must take care for energy safety, food safety, and the military safety. And there are changes. Germany decided to spend 2% instead of 1% for defense. They also it will be necessary to rethink about in many things in energy sector, and I think that this will change a lot, this agenda, and to put it to go in this direction towards low carbon economy. But for sure it will be necessary to be more self-sufficient in these topics. And if we recognize now in this crisis that in the crisis, it's very quick that you are alone, and if you cannot care for these three safeties I mentioned, you are in big troubles. So yes, this crisis will change a lot. Not only this, or many things will change in the future, and it's necessary to respond with clear answers. In these clear answers, we spoke about this transition of and transformation of our societies in many things. And what is also very important, to keep this cohesion between countries, that we will work together. Because I think that geostrategical, the most important thing for Europe is that we work together, that nobody cannot divide us. And unfortunately, as I said, if we will not be clever enough and fair enough between each other, the Fit for 55 package, which is the implementation of Green Deal, can make division inside European Union. It will be necessary to respect each other, know each other, and also through this mechanism of solidarity to help each other, that nobody will suffer in this crisis, because the costs are quite big. And my opinion is also it's necessary that Europe as whole take care also about this, that we will not lose this competitiveness in this process. Otherwise, it will not be possible to help and to cover the social costs of this transition. And sometimes I make as a little joke that it's necessary for Europe as for driver that look in the mirror if others follow us. If we will be too far before all others and alone, we will not make this transition, because we know that we produce 9% of green gas emissions, and we can show the way, but we alone cannot solve the problem.
Those are very strong words to conclude on. So thank you so much, Mr. Bogovič, for the interview. And also thank you to our viewers for watching. This was already the 12th in a series of interviews with MEPs, which are conducted under the EngagEU project. Over the upcoming months, we will publish another 12 interviews, around 2 interviews a month, with both Czech and foreign MEPs. You can follow our social media on Facebook and Instagram to get updates on future interviews and other interesting project outputs. Also, I would invite you, our Czech-speaking viewers, to visit our website at www.Zapojse.eu for more content such as a quiz game, information about European Parliament, its weekly agenda, also on European post-pandemic recovery. Green transformation, as indicated today, is incredibly important. So once again, Mr. Bogovič, thank you so much for joining us, and wish everyone a great day. Thank you.